whatever time of day it is, wherever you are right now or getting in from on the replay, welcome. Today is our first kind of pop-up session to talk about specific use cases that we tackle at Light Magic. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this is because so much conversation out there in the ether about AI, right? Everything from the politics of it to security, to politics, to OpenAI, to cool tools. That we really want to focus on at Magic AI is how everyday people, everyday business leaders, business owners, founders, employees, nonprofit staff can actually implement these AI solutions. So Anne Murphy, I'm co-founders of Magic AI, and I'm here with my friends and colleagues, Tyler Fisk and Sin. And what we're going to focus on today is a use case around SEO. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to hand it right off to Sarah so that we can value ASAP. Or you can hand this home.
Yeah, hi everyone. It's great to be online again. We're really getting into the groove of getting things going with things online. So, so one of the reasons why we wanted to do these sessions in addition to our other sessions is because we know that the AI can seem so abstract. There's all this talk about AI and all this theory about AI, but how does it actually apply in a real world perspective, and how does it impact on your business? And I found that the best way that we can do that is actually to describe and to share some of our use cases. So from these series that you'll be seeing us on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we'll be talking about use cases that we've built for clients and that we're helping clients with, but also how we're building solutions for ourselves to become an AI-fied company, and sharing that with you all so you can see AI at work. So this particular use case was, hi, Dawn. This particular use case was an SEO project. So this was a highway safety company, quite a large highway safety company. And they had basically, they've got quite a big presence in the market, in their particular market, but not so much online. And so they were really wanting to build on their online presence. A lot of their business and market was done traditionally through relationships and person to person. And what we wanted to achieve for them is to help them bring a lot more of their business online. And so they can expand their offerings and reach more people that way. So this particular company had an SEO project already underway. So they were obviously wanting to achieve that for themselves. And essentially their products that were on their website needed to be SEO-ified, in the sense that, it was missing some product descriptions, some meta descriptions, things like that. So this project that was ongoing for the last few months and was still ongoing for the next year, we've essentially helped them in 3 weeks. And so through the help of AI, naturally. So what I'm going to do now is pass on to Tyler Fisk, who is one of our wizards in terms of being able to make these magical solutions happen in real life. And he also has an e-commerce background, so this was a really helpful use case for him to get stuck into, because he understands it like the back of his hand, really.
Yeah, for sure. This was a fun project because I've had the background in that, and I know how much of a pain in the butt this is, and how expensive it is to pay SEO teams to come in and really do all this stuff. And it's not even just the SEO, right? So essentially what we did was we went in and wrote not just SEO best practices, but high converting copy and title descriptions, the benefits, specifications of all these different products that just weren't in there. And when you have your internal team do this, or you have a contractor coming to do this, it takes a really long time, right? Because they have to get up to speed on all of the different vendors that you have, all of their documentation, all of that sort of stuff. and then convert that into high performing copy that's both SEO rich and to help them rank so they show up, and so that like when people are on their website, it's actually good to look at, and it gets them to click the buy button. That's what we're doing this for. And so for this specific project, what we were able to do is update the product titles, the descriptions of the products, benefits tab on the product that listed out bullets of benefits of that product, specifications of the product, and then all of the metadata on the back end. And so the metadata is what shows up when you Google something. So the SEO title is going to be the title that shows up as the product title out on Google. And the SEO description or the meta description is it's just that. It's what you see underneath that title on Google. You only get so many characters, but that is what allows you to rank. So one of the tools that we use to do this, and they just launched officially today, is Respell. So let me see if I can share my screen here really quickly. And I will just show you briefly what this looks like. So I think everyone can see this. And Sarah, can you guys see my screen now?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, let's see here. Sharing this tab in ReStudio. All right, can you see it now maybe? Still no? Okay, interesting. Let's see. How do we bring this in this way? Boom. Now we can see it.
We're in business.
Okay, we're still learning Restream. We know how to do AI.
This is the mad scientist part of.
Yeah, I always joke that this looks like a serial killer's wall with like all the pictures up there, or like an investigator trying to like work their way through a whatever. It's just because the strings are going all over the place. But I show all this to say that essentially what this thing does is we exported all of the product information, every single data point out of their website that exists. Some of these sites or some of these products didn't even have a description written for them yet. Like it just had a picture and a title, and that was it. So if you didn't know what you were looking at when you landed on that product, like you're just, you don't know. And so that right there is a friction point that stops a lot of people from just buying. So it took in all of that information. It took in the brand information. It took in a report on their target audience, like a really comprehensive report on that. It took in all of their brand info about who they are, what they do, what areas they serve, all those sorts of things. And then we also exported their Google Search Console data for like 2 years back. And that is a massive CSV document that has every time that they ever showed up for any keyword ever on Google, and where they showed up on the page, and what the client journey was like, the user journey was like, if they actually clicked on it, what the click-through rate was, the demographic data around that. Like it's really in the weeds on this that, if you get a really, really good SEO agency, they're going to look at that stuff and implement it. But not every SEO refresh is going to do that. But we are able to. So we put that in there. And what that does is then our LLM model will actually look at all that information as additional context to say, not only do we know the best SEO practices, not only do we know everything about your e-commerce store and your brand, your target audience, but we also know like the last several years of what you've been doing in Google, like as far as like how people are even showing up there. And we take all of that to run through a chain here that puts out 6 different outputs that landed back onto their website, and 6 additional outputs that are called evals. And the evals are essentially quality control for us, because this project was approximately like 1,500-ish products for this one pass that we did. And for us to go line by line on every single product is challenging, because there's a lot of different data points in there. So we set up evals that basically go back and look at the outputs that were generated, like the title that was made. And it has all these rules in there. And it says, did it apply to these rules? Like, was this the structure that we wanted to land out in? Did this, did it bring the information in there that we wanted it to? Is this like, and we gave it examples and stuff. So it's a system to check the system, basically, to keep a human in the loop, right? And so when it does not pass with flying colors, because in that eval, it has to have an A+ rating or better based on all this like rubric that we made for it, essentially. And if it didn't have that, it would tell us, and then we would go back in and look at it and make adjustments on it. But yeah, this is kind of like a little little show and tell on the back end of what this can look like, and this is just one part of it. This is not even the entirety of it.
So from your point of view, having been in e-commerce your most of your entire career, what would this process look like in terms of time, skill level, all of that, based on the old way of doing things?
I mean, the old way of doing things, you have to do it to this level, you have to be a really skilled SEO, e-commerce SEO person. You have to, the folks that were working on this had a pretty normal timetable, in that for a project that is this large, it could take, they were projecting like a year, like they didn't think they were going to get done until in 2024 sometime. And an average cost to do this same sort of thing, because we checked it again and how we quoted back to do this job, was you would pay between $50 and $100 per product to do that. And so that gets expensive really quick, but it's worth it, because that's how you get folks to organically show up to your website without having to always like spend ad money out there. And there's definitely a lot of tools out there. Like there's all sorts of them, Yoast, SEO Surfer, Ahrefs. Like there's a bunch of tools in the industry that people use. We're also able to connect into some of those now with these models to just take them up to the next level on top of that. But because we're able to do this, instead of it taking a year and instead of it costing like that much, we were able to deliver it in like about 3 weeks and for a lot less, basically.
Yeah. Right.
So the point of this is like a lot of teams, like when we did this at some of the e-commerce stores that I ran, we would do this internally. And so it's kind of an ongoing project. And other times we'd hired outsourced to SEO specialists that would come in and do this. But it's a really time-consuming process. Part of the deal with AI, and the reason to AIify this, is because the real work comes next. Like, not only do we have all this, like not only do they get the all of the product information in there, because like I said, that one example that we did, it didn't even have a description. And so it now has a description and benefits and specs, like really detailed information in there now. So when people land on that, they can see what it is. And I just want to share this really quick too, before I hand it over to Ann, because I want to get to like what happens next, is that we're constantly amazed of what is now possible now, because we get new tools in our toolkit every time OpenAI or Anthropic or whoever ships an update, or someone puts a new GitHub repo out there or whatever. And with GPT-4 Vision, we gave it that product that had just a title that said a very generic, like 3 or 4 word title. That was it. And an image of the product. The image wasn't the best image. Like it didn't even look necessarily the shape of what it said that it was. And we fed it through Vision. And we said, can you identify this and write a summary on it to feed that into the chain as additional context, so it could then go out on the internet to search for more information around it? It nailed it like to the T. Like it could not believe how good it did. And then when you just take that as just one more data point into that whole web of prompts in there, that the output that you get on the other side is A+, where you're going to be spending at that $100 range per product or more to get that level of quality out. And it's done faster. And so the point with this stuff is every business knows that they need this, and either they're doing it internally or they're hiring someone to do it. And we just collapse that down for a fraction of the price and a fraction of the time. So what do we do next, Dan? Like, what is our job? Like, what are we doing next when that? Because the work is not done there. when we stop here. Now it's going.
The work is not done. The work is not done. And for those of you who are hopping in right now, or started the replay just a minute ago, just to reset, what we're doing right now is we're talking about a real life use case of applied AI. So how we work with clients on, specifically in this case, a big SEO project. So if you go back to the beginning, you'll see Sarah will talk about the use case itself, the client. Then Hunter does a demo on what the process looks like, and talks a little bit about how well the AI tools worked to get the company set up so that more people are seeing their products and inspired to buy without taking over a year to get, and probably, yeah, over a year, lots of stress, strain, lots of money, and subpar output. So while we love to build in public, but this is a checklist that you guys you won't be able to see because it's probably backwards. But DM me later, because I'm turning this into a checklist for all of our friends and fam, because what's really important as you think about implementing some of these AI solutions, and even when you start dreaming about them, is to ask yourself questions about people, process, and culture. So, of course, we're an AI solutions company. So we're going to be talking about all of the, great things about what AI tools and what AI experts can do for you. But as we think about the impact of implementing these solutions into our people, process, and culture, we have to look at it from a multitude of different angles, including, for example, we need to ask ourselves, who was doing the SEO job before? So where did that FTE come from, right? Was that something that person loved doing? Does this phase part of their job out? Is this an opportunity where we can finally redeploy that person for a revenue growing project that we had been ignoring for a while? Is this an opportunity for us to upskill that person? Is this something that everybody it was a hot potato and nobody wanted to do it anyway? So asking yourself, like, who was doing this before? What's the impact for that person? What can they do now? And then another piece of it is, would they become the point of contact as you're working with your, AI solutions team? So, when we install a solution like this, one of the, the next phase is, well, we have to make sure that the quality of that output is as high going forward as it is in the moment when we first implement it. So we work with our clients over the course of time to maintain, modify, improve, course correct, etc. And the question is, like, the person who was doing the SEO project before, are they now a point person to a vendor, right? And if they're a point person to a vendor, do they need upskilling for that? Right? Not everybody wakes up in the morning knowing how to work with vendors, right? It's a particular kind of business operation strategy. So maybe they need upskilling in not just project management, but like, how do they project manage with an outside firm? So a couple of questions about people to ask yourself. Then there's the process piece. So when we put this into action with a company, and their higher quality descriptions are out there in the world, and they're getting lots more clicks and lots more conversions, what does that do for the back end? So is the back end of the company prepared for an increase in sales? That's just one example when you think about process. So let's say you have, all of a sudden it's, you've got your new solution, and it hits right before Black Friday and Cyber Monday and end of year purchases. And do you have the capacity on the back end, right, for increased sales? That's just one example of a process question that one must ask themselves.
I want
everything related to.
I just want to chime in on that for just a minute, because you said like a bunch of like really good points. For sure, we did a lot of this stuff internally in some of the companies that Amy and I have had in the past. And it would either have been us doing that or like our sales staff that were really knowledgeable on the products and knew all the industry keywords and knew the questions that they were getting asked, like on the phone. And they would be like, this would be a project that they would be doing when they weren't on a client call doing a sale or something. It's like a project to do. I don't want to say busy work. It wasn't that. It was just like, there's only so much time and so much bandwidth in a lot of these, like in our business, that's what it was. And I don't think we're alone in that. And now we're able to free that up so that they bring all that value into exactly what you just said. Now you're going to rank. Now you're going to get even more sales. How are you going to handle that? Well, we just freed up your time. Like that's it.
Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah.
So I love it. You nailed it. Perfect.
And you can only imagine, like, when you start peeling that onion, it's like another opportunity. Each of these opportunities requires some kind of shift, whether it's, people, process, or cultures. There's going to be something to think about. And then, from a culture perspective, one of the things that keeps coming up for me again and again, talking to clients, is where the leader of the organization, or whoever is the decision maker around leaning into AI solutions, what is their readiness level for being kind of having a spotlight on them in their industry? Because those early adopters, everyone is going to be looking to the early adopters to say, how did that go? What were the pitfalls? Right? They're going to want the war stories. They're going to want the triumphs. They're going to want to know how much money you spent, how much money you made. And let's be honest, they're going to be waiting. They may be waiting for you to have something blow up in your face so that they can learn from that. So there is an element of kind of how you self-identify with your interest, your comfort level, your aversion to risk. So think about that before you lean into AI solutions, because again, your peers are going to be looking at what you do. On the very, very positive side, we have a client we're working with right now who is using us for their work group. And through this project, they have an opportunity to level up their career. They're going to get more visibility. They're going to write articles for their trade publications. They're going to be giving talks. Their career is going to accelerate by being the early adopter, being the person who is willing to jump first. And on that note, I wanted to ask Sarah to talk a little bit about your piece that you recently published about the early adopters and the laggers, and the huge exponential difference between the two. But I just wanted to kind of put a little bow on this, that as folks think about, if let's say you have an SEO project and you've seen Tyler's demonstration, you're like, that would be amazing. As you start putting feelers out, like as you start connecting with companies like ours that can do AI solutions, think about your people and your process and your culture, and start asking yourself some of these key questions. And I'll put, I can DM you this. I'll make a nice version of it. I'll take a picture of it and use it on Vision and create some kind of a thing for it. Anyway, Sarah, will you talk about that piece that you just published? I think it was, was that yesterday?
I actually reshared it yesterday because I published it before, but it's something that like lives in my brain rent free, because I think what everybody is wanting in terms of AI is that people see that AI is the future, but they want that comfort knowing that their investment is going to be there's going to be a return on investment in terms of what they're, taking the risk on and getting involved and being in the early adopter. And this study from McKinsey is just a few months old, but they essentially projected, if you were looking to adopt AI today, and it's not just about adopting AI as in, one tool, and we use ChatGPT. It's about absorbing AI within the way that you do business. There is an exponential growth curve that looks like this, if you can see, showing that if you're adopting AI today, there is massive economic value for people who are adopting AI today versus people who are like taking the wait and see approach. And as you know, with exponential curves, is that once you're on that upward trajectory, it becomes very, very easy for you to kind of continue on that trajectory, and very, very hard for other people to be able to like hop onto that curve. So yeah, so it's an excellent visual of just why you need to take on AI today and why you need to take it seriously today. I would love to, I'm going to link it through the study in the comment section. Yeah, because it's just this amazing visual of, makes it so clear. And it was showing, this particular study was showing that if you do not take the right steps early enough in the process, there's actually going to be a massive economic detriment to your business going forward. And when you see this exponential growth curve, you might be thinking, oh, this is like projecting 20 or 30 years down the track. It's actually projecting to 2030. That's like 5 to 7 years away. And so just think of like what steps you can take today so that in 5 to 7 years, you can be in a position that is probably quite unimaginable for you today.
Yeah.
And that's what
Absolutely.
I love about what Anne was saying with her process, culture, and people, is that it's not just about one solution and one tool. It's actually more about how do we embed and help our people and help our processes, and what do we need to put in place to ensure that we're at the top of that growth curve in 5 to 7 years.
One of the things that you talk about, Sarah, that resonates so much with me, because by the way, everybody, we're all doing this within our own businesses. Like while you're seeing us share these tools and operations with you, we all learn from each other and take them back and use them for other operations, right? So one of the things that I've really taken from Sarah is how that's the permission to do one small AI related thing, not even every day necessarily, but one small thing can make such a huge difference. And what I always ask people to start with is point one is, what do you love to do the most? What do you love to do the most? Right? Let's just start selfishly, what brings you joy in your work life? Okay, hold on to those few things in your mind, right? And then what do you wish you never had to do ever again? And of course, over the course of a given day, you're going to come up on some of each of these things. And so when you look at something that you really don't ever want to do again, think about how you might be able to integrate AI to solve that. And that's easier said than done because you don't know what you don't know, but you start thinking about it in terms of I wanted to do a couple of things before we wrap up. One is I wanted to plug upcoming conversations that we have. The other is I wanted to share about our AI intensive offer for 2024. But first, Tyler, I had a quick question for you that often comes up with people I'm talking about, which is with something like an SEO project. If you weren't in the AI world, how would you know that there's a solution? Where should people be going for information to figure out how to improve their business?
For SEO specifically, how would you learn how to do all that?
Yeah, for SEO, really for anything, because we are kind of in that mode of you don't know what you don't know. So what would you advise business owners? How do they learn what they might be able to do with AI?
For sure, I would be dialing into there's all sorts of really good content creators across all the platforms. So it would be finding someone that really speaks to you and even the industry that you're in, because people are even niching down into that. I have a lot of folks, even personally, that I watch on YouTube and on TikTok and even here on LinkedIn a lot. We're putting out a lot more content, so you can catch in with us as we're doing this.
Yeah.
But it's just keeping your ear to the ground on that. And then now even more so, just like normal business influencers and thought leaders that I normally listen to are starting to bring this up in their conversations. So even though they don't necessarily know all the technical stuff, they do see the writing on the wall that this is coming in hard and fast. And I heard it said the other day that like 2023 was like the year of dating and discovery and the shiny new toy of AI. 2024 is the year of implementation. So that's like the year that all these businesses are going to start rolling this stuff out. And to Sarah's point, like, I don't know that the McKinsey report is accurate enough, to be honest, of like putting that timeline all the way out to 2030. That, like, not to speak from like a point of fear, it's not that at all. But I just think that because of the rate of just efficiency gain that you're going to get when you roll this stuff out, and that compounds at such a rate that it's really hard to predict and to visualize, that the folks that jump on this quickest, they're going to like lock down the spots that are going to be hard to knock off the top once they do it. Like if you lock down, because now it's not even just like SEO ranking, like, do you rank well on an LLM to find you? Like when Bing goes out or OpenAI with web browsing goes out, are you showing up for them? Like that is going to be a conversation that's coming up now too. It's not just SEO anymore. So I think it's just like, you really have to find some folks that you connect with and you can tell that have the industry knowledge and aren't just blowing smoke, that and there's plenty of them out there that we could even drop. Do you want to name drop some of them, I guess? Like, you want me to share some of that I'll watch?
Yeah, why don't we do that real quick? And then also maybe we can kind of parlay that into what's the first step for kind of AI readiness that we do at Light Magic.
For sure. So really fast, some folks that I watch. Rachel Woods is for sure at the top of the list. Justin Feinberg is up there really high. Preston Rhodes is up there. Both the Liams, Liam Otley and Liam Evans. Both of those guys are amazing. If you're on Twitter, like Matt Schumer is amazing, like doing cutting edge stuff. Tony Din, D-I-N-H is really good. Like there's so, like, that's what I'm saying. They're in our space. Like it's our job. We connect with these folks and are constantly talking about the same sort of stuff. But once you start getting some of these people on your FYP, your For You page on whatever your social media platform of choice is, like I guarantee you the rest of them will start showing up too.
Yeah.
But and then I guess I'll pitch it to Sarah if you want to talk about like the getting the readiness. Like what are we doing on that?
Yeah, so we essentially, as we've been helping businesses on their AI journey, we know that people are at different stages of AI readiness, whether they're starting right from the beginning to, being ready for a solution. And so what we wanted to do is we get that a lot of people realize that AI is a big thing. And, we're at the end of 2023 now, and we're going into 2024, and there's this kind of visceral need to like figure it out, right? Like, how are we going to play in this AI space? Where do we even start? And I think that is the key, is that there is just so much noise out there. There's so much to follow, even as people who are in this space every day, and this is what we do for a living. It's hard to keep up. So what we're doing is we've already launched an AI adoption 2024 AI adoption intensive, where essentially we go through a process where we understand where you are in your AI readiness journey. You get to spend 60 minutes with 2 team members. So once we get the report, we'll know who from our teams do we assign. And we go through, because we've done the legwork up front, we go through a roadmap, essentially, a customized roadmap. So no more boilerplate presentations on AI, but like a custom roadmap for how we suggest that you approach AI in 2024. And with that, you'll have access to, obviously, our team and our IP around that, and you're able to ask questions, but also you'll get the recording, you'll get a report at the end of it, you'll get to a chat box, so you're able to ask questions and interact with the actual report that you get. And we're actually overbooked for 2023 builds, which is why we introduced this offer, because we wanted a way to continue to serve clients, understanding this kind of need to work things out before 2024 rolls around. But with the clients that we work with, you get to like essentially jump the queue at the beginning of 2024 if you want to actually implement some of the solutions that we suggest. So we're really excited about the offer. And is there anything that I missed on that?
Yeah, well, no, not at all. This is great. I think I'll add a couple of thoughts about sort of like what I love about this particular offer is like myself as a small business owner, entrepreneur, busy person, even living in the world of AI, like I would never be able to say to a vendor, I think I need to AIify my whole company and know what that means. Like I wouldn't have any idea. I would kind of be like the dog that bit the car if I did AIify my whole company because I don't know what the downstream effects are. But this is like the kind of cheap and cheerful approach to learning a little bit about how AI can make an impact in your company and how to decide ahead of time, like before you spend $35,000, $100,000, $500,000, whatever the scale of your company is, to go all in on AI solutions. This is your way to kind of test it out. And so somebody like me, like let's say you're a consultant or a coach or a trainer, if you have a small service-based business, obviously like any of the clients that we've talked about today, this is, I think, like having lived in this world for the past several months, I have not seen anything else like this, right? Where somebody can jump in and with like, caring people who've been there before and who are like, there are no experts in the AI space, which is an important thing that Tyler kind of touched on. Like anyone who's saying that they're like a full-blown expert, maybe run, don't walk, but we've all been in your shoes before. And so this is a really good opportunity to kind of test it out and see what it's like to work with Lightmagic AI. So I'll add that the QR, everybody can see because we've had some people downloading it. The QR code is on the screen. When you click that, you'll go to an area where you can see what the offer is. And when you're ready, the beginning of the offer is for you to have an interactive session about what's going on in your company, what kind of, what your experience level is with AI solutions. We start talking about how we can help. It's a very easy on-ramp. So we encourage you to reach out to us and of course DM us and all those good things too. We will be here tomorrow, Wednesday, December 6th at, is it 9 a.m. Pacific?
I think
Sarah?
so. Yes,
Great.
for that one.
9. And tomorrow we're going to be focusing on some of the AI solutions that employees can benefit from. So if you happen to be a 9-to-5er, tomorrow is going to be a really good day for you to tune in or watch the replay. We're going to talk about how some of these tools will impact your day-to-day life.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it.
Right.
These have been so much fun to do, Anne. Thanks for,
Yes.
like helping put
Same.
everything together. So,
Same.
I think.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you, everybody.
DM us.
See you again soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.